Hello, my name is Maria Reguero, and I'm here to have a conversation with you about what it means to be numb towards the horrific news that we see in the media daily. Living in the technological era that we live today, media surrounds us everywhere. It is in our phone, in the TV, in the computers, in the billboards, in the radio, it is everywhere. This is what Thomas de Sengotira calls in his article The Numbing of the American Mind as the flood. In fact, according to Sarah Cornath, this flood has been increasing from over the years. What used to be 7.5 hours of media exposure daily now is 11 hours of being exposed to media every day. This can only mean that our mind is being oversaturated with information and images. Over time, what we do with all of this information, we start to group them into categories of see later, or this does not apply to me, or I cannot deal with this today, and you keep passing those on so you live your daily life until you forget about these horrible things that are happening to people all over the world, and that soon can maybe affect you too. This is why I believe that because we are of the overflow of information that we receive daily, we're being desensitized towards the news of the things that are happening around the world. When I stopped and I realized this, I started to ask myself the same questions that Thomas asked himself in his article. He asked, how can we go about our business when things like this are happening around the world? And how can we just read the article and pass the page as if nothing has happened? The same questions I was asking myself the same questions when things like the bombing in Paris and Syrian refugees living months out of their houses, when things like this were happening. And so of course I stopped and I did some research. But after spending about 10 minutes in CNN, I started to see a pattern of devil terms being used as the title of articles. Words like killing, bombing, terrorist attacks, weapons, ISIS, racism, people being killed, vandalism, harassments, homicide. Words like that keep showing up and repeating themselves. What this creates is a spiritual numbness. When it comes to a point that you can't help but become fundamentally indifferent because you see these things so many times. So if we can't help it, as Thomas says, why should we learn about about the power that the media has over us, and on how we react and see these events? We should learn about it because at the end of the day, we have the power. We are the ones that keep scrolling on Facebook to check how many likes we have on our selfies instead of stopping and reading the article about what's happening in Syria or Baghdad or Paris, or even here in the United States. We are the ones that choose to ignore it. We choose to ignore it because we overuse and abuse media for our own social gains and to climb up in our own social ladders. It is very easy to just scroll down and ignore these things. But what I'm trying to convince you of is for you to understand that it doesn't matter if it's happening in your house, in your dorm room, or in Africa, Europe, Alaska. It doesn't matter. People are being affected by these things. People are getting hurt, and these are people's lives that are at stake. And that at some point, it will affect you directly or indirectly. So after telling you about how the media has failed us all this time with the constant bombarding us, and how we have failed the media by ignoring it, how can we open the blinds in our mind to understand what's happening in the real world? We can do this by disconnecting from the media that revolves only on ourselves and our gain, and by connecting to the media that is actually helpful for learning and understanding the reality of the world. So in this case, we can be alert and we can react when it is necessary. Thank you.